Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me in my little corner of Mexico in the mountains. I haven't felt like making a video for a few weeks, so I didn't force it until I realized that I was just having kind of a quiet time in life. And I assumed that maybe that wouldn't translate to a good video for the audience. But then some of you might be able to relate to this. So the day after Easter on Monday, I took Vigo out for a walk on the street about 8:30 in the morning. And there wasn't many people around or many animals, but I saw Señor Guapo, one of my favorite neighborhood dogs, chilling out in the field behind the rock wall. So I did something really stupid. I put Vigo's leash around my wrist so I could take a picture or video of Señor Guapo. I took some video, it just took a few seconds, and then I heard Vigo behind me. He did a sharp intake of breath, which he does when he's excited. And in my mind, I could see all his little muscles bunching up the way he does when he's ready to run. It said he bolted the other way. He saw something, I don't know what it was. I hit the ground so fast and so hard that I was shocked. And it's amazing what the body knows how to do. I mean, I was being dragged by my left wrist, and before I was even aware of it, I was taking that thing off my wrist so he couldn't drag me any further. But I think my scream kind of made him know that things were not normal. And I was on the ground and I was covered in dirt. And I hit the ground really hard on my left side, my left hip. So when I got up eventually, I was all shooken up, and it's just such a shock when you fall when you're not expecting to. And I got carved up. So my arm was bleeding and I was crying because you know how I am. And I was walking down back towards home, and 3 different people stopped to make sure I was okay. It was really sweet. I think it was clear that Vigo had pulled me off my feet. I didn't know how to say that, but anyway, I hobbled back home. I was really afraid I broke my hip. It was my first thought when I slammed to the ground. Obviously, if I had a big fractured pelvic bone, I would think it would hurt no matter what I did, and it's getting better instead of worse. So I think these are all good signs that I do not have a fracture. But I was really worried that I was gonna have to go get an x-ray and find out that I had a broken bone. And what would that mean, surgery? Second time in 6 months having an accident. And in my life, I've never had a broken bone or a major accident. And here in 6 months, I'm having 2. First bumping my head so hard, and now this. It got really painful that night, but the next day, it was so much better. And now today is the second day. My hip feels so much better. I'm walking with this cane. But after my hip started feeling better, I took the dogs out into the garden so they could run around, and I was like stopping every 10 feet just to catch my breath and stand up straight. I looked up at those beautiful green feathery trees, and it was like the first time I had seen them in months. I looked up and I felt like I truly saw them for the first time in ages, in all their beauty and aliveness. And later inside, a song came on I'd heard probably a dozen times before, but this time I really heard it. I closed my eyes, swayed to the music, and it moved through me like something almost sacred. I'd been caught in weeks of paperwork, taxes, car registration, immigration forms, selling my house, my mind overloaded with lists, calculations, deadlines. Maybe my injury was a reminder to slow down, to return to presence, to remember what's really real. So with my leg being forced to slow down, I thought maybe that's the message of my injury, to slow down again. Don't get caught up in all my compulsory mental activity, so much so that I think that's all there is. When I left the US, I wasn't just moving to another country. I was trying to find a way to breathe again. My life had gotten so small. I was burned out, exhausted, and afraid that nothing was ever going to change unless I made it. Mexico for me was possibility, warmth, simplicity, something radically different. And it was all of those things. But here's what I didn't realize back then. When you cross a border, your luggage is not the only thing you bring with you. You bring your habits, your inner monologue, your emotional patterns. I brought decades of tension from working in a high-pressure system where it always felt like someone was waiting to jump down your throat. That hyper alertness came with me, but something started to shift here. In Mexico, the pace is different. The expectations are different. People smile more. There's patience, even humor, in the way life unfolds. Little by little, I noticed that edge softening in me. I was still me, but something in me began to exhale. People talk about moving abroad like it's a reset button, and in some ways it is. You get distance, you get perspective, you get to change your surroundings. But wherever you go, there you are. The same thought loops still run, the same insecurities can still whisper. Lately, I've been remembering to actually see my life here. Not just glance past it, but actually see it. The way the air moves through the trees, the sound of distant music in the plaza, the way sunlight shifts across a wall. When I pause the mental chatter, the endless naming, comparing, planning, I can feel something deeper. I'm not trying to chase constant joy or perfect peace. I'm just trying to live with a little more presence, to be awake inside of my own life. And that has changed everything. Well, now it's about a month after my accident, and I'm really happy to say that I'm pretty much fully recovered. It took a while, but I'm just so really grateful that it didn't turn into a permanent injury of any kind. You know, Mexico has been really good for me, but I'm slowly realizing that it's not so much about the location or even the freedom or the change of life. Well, maybe it is about the freedom and the change too, but I'm also noticing that it's about waking up to your life, you know, really seeing what's around you, really hearing, really feeling the breeze on your skin. All those things are what's really real. And it's taken me all this time to come to that, and I'm just so grateful that I've had the opportunity. If you've ever had moments like that where you sort of dropped into presence and felt the wonder of life, not to be cheesy, but it really is wondrous, and the beauty around you, please feel free to comment below, because I'd love to hear about it, and we all need more reminders of what's really real in this world.